Hello again, mate lovers. I'm going to talk this time about a way of serving mate that is actually one of my favorites and might be a little bit unusual if you haven't heard this before, and I'm guessing perhaps you haven't. It's using this right here, the humble grapefruit, or pomelo as we would say in Argentina. You can use a grapefruit. There's also, if you find in your stores certain times of the year, a very large kind of white looking grapefruit called a pomelo. And those are actually pretty good to use, although they're a bit costly. So I'm using one right here. And the idea is to serve the mate in the grapefruit. So the grapefruit becomes the mate or the cup that will hold it. Now, I was introduced to this way of drinking mate many years ago by someone who had heard about it and suggested the idea to me. I was reluctant as I didn't like grapefruit at the time. And I was still convinced to try it and was quite surprised at how good it was. And this was perhaps my first experience of a flavored mate. The nice thing about the grapefruit is that it gives the mate, the leaves, a really nice flavor. And it doesn't necessarily taste like grapefruit, but it gives a really good citrus flavor that complements the yerba itself. So if you are finding the mate itself a bit harsh or difficult to drink, doing it this way can be quite nice. And I would say, as an example, this is my wife's favorite way of having mate. So yes, that's right. Sorry, kids. I am actually married. But I'm going to show you the way to prepare mate in a grapefruit. You can try it and see if you like it. It may just become one of your favorite ways of doing it. And what you want to look for first is a very large grapefruit. It needs to be kind of as big as you can get. Obviously one with a very flat bottom is good. So often when I'm in the store picking out grapefruits, I'm holding them up and gauging them by their size and their shape and looking at them like this. So who knows, if anyone else is seeing me, but I'm looking for grapefruits that have a good shape. You want large, and you want something with a thick rind, because obviously you don't want to, poke through with a bombilla or anything. You want to have it nice and solid. So a thick rind is good. I will also say that the lighter the inside flesh of the grapefruit, the better. That's a bit of a problem because so many places like to have just red grapefruit or ruby red. So those are okay. They're all pretty good. But I find that the lighter or the less red the inside flesh is, it can almost be kind of like a pink or almost a fleshy color. The sweeter it is and the better it works for mate. So you want something with a light taste, not a really heavy, strong taste. But I've had it with all kinds of grapefruit and it still works pretty well. So the first thing you want to do is to take a nice sharp knife and cut out an opening out of the top of the grapefruit. Sort of a conical opening. Go around and cut through it and pull out something like this. Now this grapefruit, even though I think the store called it red, it does have a really nice color inside. It's not a really deep ruby red. It's a little lighter, a little pinker, so I'm hoping this will be a really good one. So you kind of make an opening right there, and this will become the grapefruit that you use. This will be your mate. Can you believe not having a bombilla to have your mate with? Crazy. So I've got my bombilla now. I want to talk about the bombilla a little bit. For this particular type of mate, because of what you need to do with it, a larger, heavier one is good. Notice how this one has kind of a flat spoon shape almost to it. This works well. It's kind of a cheap bombilla I got, I believe from goyerbamate.com, a great place to buy your stuff. It's not a great bombilla. It's kind of tall and heavy, and so in a lot of standard mates it might be a little bit unwieldy, but it works fine in a grapefruit because that's really a big heavy base here. So you want to take your bombilla, again with the hopefully one that has kind of a heavier, flatter one. I've also often used ones that have a big round bottom. Those can work well. The idea is you want to put it here in the hole and just sort of start mashing around to make some room in the grapefruit. So I'll set it on my table here. and just sort of carve out almost a hole within the grapefruit to put the mate in. You need that space, just like in any traditional mate, to have the yerba in there. So you want to kind of go in and carve away from the sides and squash it down until you have an opening here. And then you'll have some really nice, fresh grapefruit juice that you can just suck out. And that's really good. If you like grapefruit especially. This one actually has a good flavor to it. It's nice and sweet, not too strong, so I think it'll work well. Now the type of yerba I always use for the grapefruit mate is my personal favorite brand. And that's Taragüi right here. So Taragüi Sin Palo. So we got this pure leaf. That's actually in English here. Here's the other side. Taragüi Sin Palo. So without sticks, or I guess in English they'd want to say pure leaf. This is one of the best brands out there. It's very consistent, high quality. It's a very strong, good flavor, and I really find it works the best, especially for this preparation here. So it's going to be my favorite. And you can try your own favorite brands with this. But I would recommend this one, especially if you don't know it. Taragüi really is considered one of the best brands in Argentina. Very high quality brand. So I'm putting a few spoonfuls here in the grapefruit, just spooning it in with my little usual mate spoon. And as usual, you don't want to fill it up too much. 3 or 4 spoonfuls here will work. But of course, the nice thing about this is that you can make more room as you drink it. You can squeeze it a little bit, and the hot water and the drinking will actually wear away more room, so you'll be able to fill it up a bit. So anyway, I've filled it up. We've got some in there, ready to go, and of course you're going to need a little bit of sugar. The grapefruit juice flavors this up so much that you really don't need much at all. Okay. And then, as usual, the hot but not boiled water. So I'll pour that in, come up to the top, give it a little bit of stir, and it should look like your usual mate, kind of foamy and thick there at the top, and enjoy as usual. Now this first one is not very warm because there's still a decent amount of grapefruit juice in there. So I'm getting a little bit more of that juice out and making a bit more of a hole here. And of course, if you've watched my introductory video, you know that first serving is often a bit bitter. So bit more sugar back in there, and perhaps I'll just put a little bit more of the yerba right there on top, and we'll try this again. So the second one really should work well, and of course, as the person serving the mate, you are you're in charge of it. And you're taking that first, rough or bitter drink yourself. Okay, this one's a bit better. Get more of the heat coming through. Really nice flavor. So, of course, mate can be strong. The grapefruit juice is going to mix with that, flavor it up quite a bit, and kind of mask some of that harshness of the mate taste. It's really a great flavor. It doesn't taste so much like grapefruit. And as I said, when I first tried it, I didn't like grapefruit or grapefruit juice at all, really. But the combination of flavors really works well. And this may be about my favorite flavor for mate. I've mentioned how citrus is a great way to go, and this grapefruit one here is certainly a good one, but better than any of the packaged flavors you can get now because this is the real deal. Real grapefruit, real juice right there mixed in. So, definitely good stuff. May look a little bit different. People may see you doing this and wondering what the heck's going on, but that just is a good opportunity for you to explain to them. So, this is a great way to do it. A great flavor, as I say. Even if you don't much like grapefruit, but you're interested in mate and you'd like to try something new, this is just a wonderful taste. Like I say, many people that don't like the mate so much, just plain flavors by themselves, really do like this. It's a bit lighter, a bit fruitier, combines well with the flavor of the mate, and ends up just being a really great beverage for any time. I always like to keep a number of good grapefruits on hand for this. So buying a few large and well-shaped grapefruits on any grocery trip is a must for me. And as I keep going on this one, it just keeps getting better. So, really good one. I do recommend it. At the same time, I would very highly recommend the Taragui Sin Palo. Not only my favorite flavor and brand, but it seems to work the best with doing it this way in the grapefruit. I've actually tried mate in a number of different fruits. You gotta get something large enough, and this is just the best. Easiest to make, by far the tastiest, and just a great way to go. It's like the grapefruit was just made for this purpose, works really well. Still good. And as you drink it, you can actually give it a little bit of a squeeze and force a bit more of that juice in there. So it really adds to the experience. So try that, keep drinking, find a good mate to enjoy, and see you next time.